Am I the arsehole? Am I the...
Are you pulling my leg?
I'm not pulling your leg.
Right, this is going to be rich.
Right. Am I the arsehole for telling my son to pay back the money he spent on his online girlfriend? P.S. I must add that everyone else has said she's not the arsehole.
Well, they're all idiots then.
Okay.
You guys will see in a moment.
I, 45 male, have a son, 16 male, that loves to play video games. I purchased him a PlayStation 5 for his birthday last year and he plays online with friends. He's been telling me that he's been chatting online with a girl, 15, and they have slowly started dating. They don't talk over microphone as hers broke and he has no idea what she looks like.
Wait, hold on a second. I, 45 male?
That's what it says.
I thought it was a female.
So did I.
Oh, but we're still on the same page, right?
Still on the same page.
All right, cool.
I told him to be careful on what he sends her and not to give her any personal information. My son has his own credit card with a limit on it and I told him not to go over the limit and only use it for emergencies. I got the credit card bill for this month and there were charges repeatedly for the game he plays in charges of £50 to £100. I was furious as he gets gift cards for games for his birthday and Christmas. I approached him with the bill and asked him what the charges were. He told me that his girlfriend wanted new stuff for the game and would break up with him if he didn't purchase them. I told him that I would pay the charges and that he would have to pay me back the money. I told him that there were many jobs that would hire him. He got angry with me that he wouldn't have time to work as he plays sports and school. I told him that if I was able to balance working and school, he would have no problem doing it. I took his credit card away. He's not speaking to me now, only if it's in regards to being picked up or needing a ride to see his friends. He's mad that I'm making him pay the money back and get a job. Am I the arsehole for telling my son to pay back the money he spent on his online girlfriend?
How old was the son again?
16.
Right. 16. They have a credit card, an online girlfriend, and the parent is aware of all of this. How could you not think the parent's the arsehole here? How could the parent not be the arsehole? A 16-year-old has a credit card on the internet talking to a girlfriend he has never seen in his life. What does that sound like to you? Does that sound like a man funneling money from a little boy? What kind of irresponsible parent gives a credit card to a child to go online and then gets angry at the child when the child turns around and says, my girlfriend wanted new cosmetics? The parent is undoubtedly the arsehole here.
Absolutely not. So the parent is the arsehole for making him get a job and pay the money back?
He's 16.
No, that's the concept here. Is the parent the arsehole for making him get a job and pay the money back?
No, the parent is the arsehole because the child turned around.
The narrative now.
No, I'm not. The child turned around and said, it's for my online girlfriend. And what did the parent say? Be careful. Are you an idiot or something? Do you not know how pedophiles work?
Get it back up, please. Get it back up.
That's what she said.
That's not a good thing. I told him to be careful on what he sends her and not to give her any personal information.
What kind of irresponsible parent hears their 16-year-old say they are talking to a faceless girl online on a game not to give any personal information of? Wouldn't you be like, this is probably a pedophile trying to funnel money from my child? £50 to £100. You're an idiot. You know, you're not fit to have children. You are an arsehole. Any parent that did that is anyone that does that's a dickhead. If you don't think you're an arsehole, you're at the very least a dickhead. You never been on the internet before. This is how they get little kids. This is how they get them, and you're there. You tell the kid, go and get a job, pay me back. Go and get parenting classes. Go and get parenting classes. There are so many red flags with this. I'd love to hear how you're going to defend this one.
Yeah, here's my take on it. Number one. Yeah. The parents have given the kid a credit card for emergencies, not for online gaming, for emergencies. So like 16, I must add, is old enough to know to use their credit card for emergencies.
Are they?
Yeah. I was 16. I was 16 and I would know that this is for emergencies.
Sabi, not you, objectively 16-year-olds.
Secondly, they've noticed that this person is probably dodgy and spoken to their 16-year-old and said, don't give her any personal information or send her money. That's taken a correct place and measure. Your 16-year-old should be wise enough to not talk to somebody online and send them money. But nonetheless, they've advised the kid. Let me finish my point, and then you can start saying it. They've advised the kid, yeah. The kid, they even said they give gift cards so the kid can spend it on gaming. The kid has done what the kid's done. He's sent money to this pedo online. Now, what the kid has done here is wrong and bad and has not listened to the parent in the first place. So the next best measure to put in place so the kid learns from this lesson and knows not to do it again is to say, you're now going to get a job and you're now going to pay me the money that you've wasted so you can learn your lesson. So I think that they've done a good parenting skill there of punishing the child so that they can learn from their mistakes. They've not confiscated the credit card.
Savvy.
They've not confiscated the game, said you can't game no more, you can't have money anymore. Look, I'll pick you up and drop you off on whatever you got to do, but you're going to learn today and you're going to get a job and you're going to pay me back. Your issue lies with the fact that they didn't stop the kid in the first place. Granted, I'm on the same page with you as that. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But the whole concept of this am I the arsehole is, am I the arsehole for making my kid get a job to pay me back the money? No, the parent's not the arsehole. I think it's something to do to teach the kid a lesson.
No, you need to be taught a lesson. First of all, on a gaming console, there are parental controls. 16-year-olds should be having the parental controls. The fact that you gave them a gaming console and a credit card and then set up the parental controls, because any parent worth their salt knows that if you set up the child account, they can't add credit card details. So you're negligent there. Secondly, you know that games
I was working when I was 16, I must add.
We're talking objectively here, okay? We're not talking about savvy.
Most 16-year-olds work. Most 16-year-olds work. I know a lot of people who started working at 16,
this has nothing
if
to
not
do with
younger.
work.
It does, because it shows that you're grown enough and mature enough to have brain cells to not do dumb shit. And your parents shouldn't have to monitor you at 16. 16 in America, you're legal to drive. You see what I'm saying? You're old enough for certain things. You're old enough for certain things. Your parent, I can understand if it was a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old. It's a 16-year-old.
This is how he gets his hands on kids.
All right.
This is how the Jeffrey Marshalls of the world funnel your children behind a paywall, because parents are like, kids do this. I'm like, but they don't. Kids do dumb shit all the time. I know this because I know people that have worked at PlayStation, and the number one call they get is from parents saying, my kid has spent all my money, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, on FIFA points.
All right. Let me ask you a question then. Because we had a conversation. We done an episode of Am I the Arsehole about the kid that went on holiday with her mate, and the parents gave her a bill and said, you owe us this much. And you was like, no, the 16-year-old is old enough to know that they should ask and offer, what do I owe you? So why are they mature enough and old enough to make those decisions, but not this one?
First of all, that wasn't a 16-year-old.
16-year-old, 17, 16, same fucking difference.
18.
It wasn't 18. It wasn't 18. It was 16 or 17. It was one of the two. And I'll even get the video up right now just to clarify. At the end of the day, 16 years old is old enough to understand, do not use your credit card for your online gaming, let alone talking to strangers online that you have not seen or met.
No, the strangers online is not true. That's how we know that pedophiles operate this way. So we know children are not smart enough to work it out. This is exactly how they get them. The children think they're talking to people their age, and before they know it, they have been doxxed. This is what happens.
I think at 16, you're old enough for your parent to say, do not do this, and for you to listen and say, okay, I won't do this.
Okay, I'm sorry if I sound harsh when I say this. This is not an I think situation. This is what happens, period. There is no ifs, buts, or maybes.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with the notion that there's pedos out there and that's the way they work. Right. I agree with you. I'm talking about a 16-year-old being smart enough in their head to listen to instructions from their parent.
And yet kids don't.
Okay, but that's not the parents' fault. The parents told them, the kids not listen. Now the parents taking action. How is the parent the arsehole here?
You are supposed to discipline children to the point that they don't do those stupid things in the first place. Clearly, this child is not disciplined enough to understand the complexities of talking to people online and having a credit card. The parent gave them.
How's the parent supposed to know unless the kid fucks up? How's the parent going to know?
Because you take precautions beforehand.
You learn from your mistakes in life.
When you purchase gaming consoles, they have parental controls on them. A 16-year-old should be on the parental side of it. They're not 18 yet. The parental controls on the PlayStation do not allow people to add credit cards. As a matter of fact, that goes for all of the consoles. So that's step one where they fucked up. Secondly, if my 16-year-old came up to me and said, I have an online girlfriend who he's never met before. Me being somebody that has been on the internet is immediately going to go, can you put the headset on loud so I can hear this person, please? I'm going to have a conversation with this person. I'm not going to have my 16-year-old talking to a stranger, because most of the time, 16-year-old will be going to school, and with the technology they have today, you can connect your phone to gaming consoles. This imaginary girlfriend could be talking to my child whilst they're in school. Where are you right now, little Timmy? Oh, I'm at so-and-so primary school or secondary school. Oh, I want to come and see you.
Secondary school, you're about to leave and go into sixth form.
Okay, what is sixth form, secondary school? Doesn't matter. This is how they get these kids.
You're acting like 16-year-olds are dumb.
They are dumb.
At the end of the day, myself and loads of other people who I know who have started working at 16, you have your own money. Yeah. You have your own money to spend on what you want. Yeah. So, granted, this kid ain't been given, ain't got his own money to spend. He's been given money from his parents because obviously,
red flag.
He's, you know,
doesn't know the value of money. He's been given money.
But the point I'm making is that as a 16-year-old, I would know what I'm spending my money on, and I'm free to do that however I want. No one's really going to tell me what I can and can't spend it on, because I'm old enough to make that money myself and control it myself.
Yeah, but Sabi,
so your parents can't wrap you in bubble wrap and baby you at like every step of the way at 16 years old.
No.
He's gone on it. He's made a mistake. They've realised and they're doing something about it.
It's not about bubble wrapping people. I mean, first of all, I'm not using myself as an example, because I started working when I was 14.
There we go.
14-year-olds are not responsible enough. And I'm sure you was
clever at 16.
I might have been, but if I look around at my peers, most of them will not. They didn't know what they were doing. Just because we were able to do something does not mean that all people are able to do something. Most children are stupid. They make stupid decisions. That is how people get their hands on them. And my problem with this is that she thinks she's the arsehole before posing the question, oh, am I the arsehole for making my kid get the job? Let's take it back a second. You were the arsehole 10 minutes ago. The first line of this, am I the arsehole? You confessed you were the arsehole. You didn't do the necessary checks for your child. And we know how predatory people are online. If you don't, then I suggest go on a Call of Duty forum and find out for yourself. Secondly, you gave your child a credit card without setting up the correct parental controls. And then you tried to discipline them. Is there any accountability in this am I the arsehole where they went, maybe I shouldn't have given my kid a credit card without taking the necessary steps? Just am I the arsehole for asking them to get a job? You're just an arsehole, in my opinion.
I don't think the parent was the arsehole here at all.
Not only are you an arsehole, you're negligent, and you are the kind of parent where little Timmy will get funneled from school one day because of your negligence, and you go, oh, my child, go fuck yourself. You are the kinds of people that should not have children. Your child will get funneled.
I disagree.
Children go missing in ridiculous numbers every day because of bullshit like this. Because of simple checks that you can just make. But people are so boring. They buy their children extravagant phones and iPads and they just give it to them. And they have no idea what these kids are looking at. And we know, we've covered them on this channel before, there are some sick people out there. And in your infinite wisdom, you thought to post on Reddit, am I the arsehole for asking to get a job? You're already beyond it.
The kid as younger and dumber than what they are.
No, I'm looking at the kid for a 16-year-old. I remember what 16-year-olds were like.
Especially 16-year-olds of today's age being a lot more technology thing than we were.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
I was just checking the sound was all right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they're more used to all this stuff anyway.
And yet, child kidnapping is on the rise. It is. As the internet has become more accessible to everybody and more accessible to children are getting abducted at higher rates. I found out the other day that the amount of kidnappings that go on in London is way higher than I thought it was. I can't remember what the number is, but I was like, that's a ridiculous number. And a lot of these children just go missing. The parents are like, oh, I don't know what happened. It's because you put your kid in front of a fucking iPad. You didn't do the necessary checks. Some bastard from some website got their hands on the child, acted like a fake girl for a year.
All right, so let me ask you a question then. So your 16-year-old's gaming, your 16-year-old's a gamer. Mm-hmm. Your 16-year-old ain't got money or a credit card to send money to anyone. Mm-hmm. But your 16-year-old's still there talking to people online. Are you going to take the element of talking online away from your 16-year-old kid because you don't trust that they might give personal information to somebody? Of, I go to this school and I finish at 3 p.m.
No, I'm not saying that you take away the whole gaming platform.
So what could the parent do then? No, but you're saying they put parental controls in.
Yeah.
What are they doing to stop the kid from giving personal information to stop them from getting abducted?
I mean, first of all, if you're allowing your child to go online, they should be in earshot most of the time. I understand you're going to go out and they're going to be
At
indoors.
16.
At 16 years old. My mom took the necessary precautions with me, and she wasn't even fully aware of how deep online can get. It's impossible to fully police your child because they can go to school and someone can roll up on the school. But that doesn't mean you take some steps to make sure they're going to be okay. You don't just give them a gaming console, especially when you know how gaming has evolved now. It's one of the easiest places to chat to people online without being checked. There was even an issue on the PlayStation Network not too long ago where terrorist organizations were going into Call of Duty forums and recruiting people through Call of Duty. And nobody was checking to see what's going on.
So maybe you should stop your kid from gaming until they're old enough.
No, it's not that you need to stop your kid from gaming. You just need to be very careful with what they're doing. You need to check them.
Yeah, but I also think it depends on how you're raising them and what you're teaching them along the way as well. Like,
Yeah,
for
definitely.
example, parents, when their kid, if teaching your kid, if somebody offers you sweets or to go pet their dog, you say no.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. As you raise them from young up until 16 plus, you're teaching them what's right and wrong, and they would know what to do when the situation comes down to it.
I mean, first of all, in this situation, this 16-year-old was given a credit card. There's no indication they're
For
working.
emergencies.
For emergencies.
Yeah.
So they clearly weren't taught what emergencies were because this donut of a child,
They were, but
children do, they're impressionable. People trick them into doing things. So this kid was not disciplined to the point where he could avert trickery.
But
like that
he's
online.
being disciplined now that he's fucked up. They're taking precautions.
Yeah, but
no, not precautions. They're taking necessary measures now that the kid has done something that's shown them that the kid's irresponsible, which shows that they are a good parent because they're taking action rather than just not doing anything about it.
No, these parents, in my opinion, are reactionary. They wait for a problem to occur and then they're like, okay, this is how we're going to fix it, rather than being able to see that, okay, this could potentially become a problem. It's like the Avengers Justice League, right? The Avengers always react and the Justice League always take precautions, and which is why I always prefer them. I think you should take precautions. Nice. I'm not saying don't discipline the child. Obviously, they need to be
And
disciplined
don't
now.
let your kid go on Instagram because they might talk to a stranger who might try groom them. Don't let your kid go on any social media. Don't let your kid go on any gaming where they might be exposed to anybody of the outside world until you think they're old enough and smart enough to not do shit like that.
No, because I don't live in like a black and white of these sort of things. I think that you can let them go on certain things, but you need to show them the right way to go about things. There's a difference between a parent that explains what Instagram is and a difference between a parent that just goes, yeah, just go on your phone, do whatever you want. Like, at least educate your children.
This parent has explained it to this person.
No, she
don't
hasn't.
send her anything and don't give her any personal information. They've told the kid. They have told their 16-year-old who's doing probably GCSEs and whatnot, do not do this. And the kid ain't listened.
Can I ask you a question?
And then they've taken necessary measures after that.
If your child was playing Call of Duty and he said, I've got an online girlfriend on Call of Duty, what would you do?
I would tell him the same thing. That's probably not a real person. And don't talk to this person no more. I'll probably go on it and block it. Block
Now,
the account.
A 16-year-old is likely not going out all the time. Is likely not
Yeah,
doing...
and he's excited because he's got a girlfriend now.
Quite fair. He's likely not going out a lot without the parents. The most that he'll probably be doing is getting dropped off at a friend's house, right?
Yeah.
So this emergency for the credit card, exactly what is he using it for? Unless you're letting your 16-year-old go out all the time, which is, again, that's just weird. So what is the emergency for? You as the parent should have control of the bank cards at that age. I can understand giving an 18-year-old an emergency credit card. Okay, fine. Even though I would say keep the credit card for yourself because you're the parent, you're their guardian, you can deal with the emergencies, teach them and get them to go get a job. But a 16-year-old having an emergency credit card, what emergency is a 16-year-old going to be in that needs a credit card? Also, what was the limit on this credit card that the 16-year-old had since he was giving this imaginary girl 50 to 100
I don't
pounds?
think a 16-year-old should be left with no money. Maybe he needs money for food when he goes to school.
Our parents used to give us money. Here's
Yeah, but we're
£2.
living in a different society now.
How is it different to give your
Because
kid a note?
it's just things aren't really cash based anymore. It's a credit card. It might be money the parents don't even have, which is why it's on a credit card. They don't sound like bad parents to me.
They sound
the
negligent
fact that
to
they've
me.
given him a credit card
Is ridiculous.
The fact that they pick him up and drop him off and don't let him get on public transport, the fact that they advised him against this, and the fact that they've punished him by making him pay them back, I think shows that they are parents that do have some sort of brain cells. I don't think they're arseholes.
I think that the kinds of parents where something bad would happen to their kid and then they would discipline them. They'll be like, don't do that. It's like,
No,
tell them to not do it beforehand.
They did. They did.
No, they didn't. They
said,
enough.
do not do this.
They didn't do enough because, like I said, they didn't take the necessary precautions to allow for a situation like that to occur.
Because they probably thought 16's old enough to fucking know right from wrong.
There's the problem.
The 16-year-old's dumb.
There's the problem. An adult assuming a 16-year-old knows right from wrong is the problem.
It's not assuming. They obviously know their kid. They've raised their kids.
You know the kids that Jeffrey Marsh gets behind the paywall? You know some of them are 16, right?
Okay.
Now we know right from wrong, and we know if we see a grown man on TikTok saying, talk to me behind the paywall, we see red flags straight away.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Marsh knows that those children don't.
But he's targeting children who are mentally confused and ill. That's why he's getting away with that.
Mental illness is apparently on the rise, so...
All right.
I'm just saying that we live in a very cold, twisted world, and there's a lot of sick people online, and
Correct.
you
I don't disagree with that.
It's very hard to completely police children, especially with the advent of the internet exploding everywhere. Everywhere you go, the internet's there. We can't escape it. But there are still things you can do, and I think that they fucked up. So they're the arseholes, in my opinion. They're massively negligent parents. If my wife did that, I'd go through the fucking roof. I'd be like, are you stupid or something? Like, what planet do you live on?
Do you know what? I think that should this situation have arisen for you with a 16-year-old kid, I don't think you would have done all the things you say you think you would have done. It
wouldn't have gotten there. My kid is not going to be raised like that. If I have a kid, discipline is very big for me because I was disciplined heavily when I was a child, and a lot of the people I grew up with were also disciplined very, very heavily. There were certain things that we just did not do. And there was things that I saw that I knew that other people didn't see because they weren't disciplined properly. You can tell the difference between a kid that has been smacked with the belt and a kid that's been allowed to do whatever they want. And some of the kids that went to school with me either are unfortunately not here anymore or in prison because they weren't disciplined properly. And at the age of 16, they were doing dumb shit like this. I mean, you say 16-year-olds should know right from wrong, and yet how many times do we open a newspaper and it's like 16-year-old has stabbed 15-year-old? And then the parents are like, oh, my son is never capable of this. But he was, because you weren't paying attention. Kids are stupid. If people start accepting that, then maybe it will be harder. It will be easier for them to accept the fact that they need to discipline them. I
think to a certain extent, I think a 16-year-old is old enough to know, don't talk to this stranger online and send them money.
All right. Would you have anything to add to it?
No.
Well, you guys let us know what you think in the comment section. You're on Sabi's side or my side?
Obviously everyone's going to be on your side, but I think it's just the narrative as to where you've taken it and the way you've worded it. But I was just looking at it as a concept of, are they an arsehole for making the kid pay them back the money he wasted on an online creep? No, they're not arseholes for doing that because they are punishing him in a way that's a good way.
I don't think they're arseholes for making him go get a job.
Okay, so then we're on the same page then.
No, I think that's good. But I think when you read a text like this, you need to peel back the layers. That's what I think. I don't think you just answer on like a base level. I think you go, okay, wait, hold on. There's a big piece of information here that kind of changes this whole narrative. So that's how I look at it.